Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Easter Qingming Festival holiday period is coming to an end. The Immigration Department is expecting around 671,000 inbound travelers today as holidaymakers return to the city. As of 4 p.m., some 337,000 travelers entered the city. Among them, 278,000 are Hong Kong residents.
The 5-day public holiday period stretching through the Easter break and Qingming Festival is winding down. After traveling north for their Easter break or ancestral visits during the Qingming Festival, the homebound travel rush picked up at around midday, with crowds surging at multiple cross-border checkpoints. Bustling sights at the West Kowloon high-speed rail station since this morning, though queues appeared lighter than yesterday. To cope with demand, 13 additional pairs of trains have been arranged between West Kowloon Station in Hong Kong and Shenzhen's Futian Station. However, tickets from other mainland stations are much harder to secure, including those returning from Guangzhou to Hong Kong.
The sale of tickets was fully booked out, and it was really hard to get tickets. Also, the queues to the trains were really long.
It was kind of crowded just now, and I took the subway from China. I was rushing for the opening of the school.
The Immigration Department said it has stepped up manpower and opened up additional counters to ease passenger flows. It is also urging travelers to plan ahead and avoid crossing the border during peak hours if possible. Meanwhile, some tourists from Shenzhen and Shanghai timed their Hong Kong trip after the Mainland's Qingming Festival.
We have a holiday called 春假, so I have time and I don't want to waste this holiday. So I choose to come Hong Kong and travel for a few days.
Why did you try to postpone it a little bit later?
If it's near too many people, it's very hot in Hong Kong usually. So I don't want to crowd with others.
We pay $40 for 5 person. It's good. It's not expensive. And for me, Hong Kong is the best town in the world.
At another busy entry point, the Hong Kong port of the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, conditions improved this morning after long vehicle queues and crowds overnight. Some travelers say waiting times for shuttle buses and border clearance took around 5 minutes. At the Zhuhai port of the bridge, the official website shows vehicle traffic has been heavy since 3 p.m. Drivers have to wait at least 40 minutes for security and clearance.
Hong Kong recorded some 2.1 million people departing the city over the past 4 days, which means around 1/3 of all residents left the SAR during the holiday period. Some local retailers said business was affected. Timothy Lee tells us more.
The mainland's 3-day Qingming holidays ended on Monday, but scores of mainland tourists could still be seen taking photos at the Kennedy Town New Praia, a popular landmark for southbound visitors. Some of them shared the reasons for choosing the city as their holiday destination. Ms. Xu, a visitor from Zhejiang province, said many women in the mainland are excited to take photos at the scenic spot. While this Beijing tourist says she prefers to buy handbags and precious metals in Hong Kong. Between last Friday and this Monday, at least 560,000 mainland and overseas tourists entered Hong Kong, with mainlanders comprising 73% of this figure. The local tourism sector believes that there has been a surge in southbound visitors owing to the introduction of spring breaks in mainland schools. Lawmaker Edward Leung, a representative of the catering sector, said the city's businesses and various other sectors can benefit from the introduction of more mega events during off-seasons. Meanwhile, in residential neighborhoods such as Shek Lei in Kwai Chung, some local restaurants said they were unable to take advantage of the mainland tourism wave during the holidays. With authorities recording some 2.1 million residents departing the city over the course of the holiday period, these restaurants are still reeling from a 20% drop in patrons. Some restaurant managers noted that locals are afraid to spend owing to rising oil prices caused by the Iran war. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
A Chinese Kuomintang party delegation from Taiwan led by its chairwoman Chen Li-wen has landed in Shanghai. They will embark on a 6-day mainland trip. The visit is regarded as an important part of the dialogue between the KMT and the Communist Party of China. Cheng said the trip is meant to show the whole world that both sides of the Taiwan Strait are longing for peace. It is reported that the delegation would head to eastern Jiangsu province to visit Dr. Sun Yat-sen's mausoleum in Nanjing. Cheng is also expected to hold meetings with senior Chinese Communist Party leaders in Beijing. A U.S. Democratic House representative moves to impeach Defense Secretary Pete Hexath over his role in the ongoing conflict with Iran. U.S. House Representative Yasamin Ansari, who is of Iranian descent, says she will introduce articles of impeachment against Hexath next week. Ansari accused Hexath of violating his oath of office and acting outside constitutional authority in relation to military actions linked to the Trump administration. She said Hexath's war crimes, including bombing a girls' school and targeting civilian infrastructure, are grounds for impeachment. Some Democratic lawmakers reportedly say the issue is not currently under discussion within the party. And still ahead, Alice Mack says briefing day for Wanful Court residents will not clash with public hearing dates. More students taking DSE exams are seeking pre-exam psychological counseling. And Welfare Chief Chris Swin explains changes to the $2 subsidy scheme for the elderly. Welcome back. Homebound Management, the new company appointed to oversee Wanful Court affairs, will hold a briefing sessions early next month. This Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs Alice Mack stressed the date for the briefing session will not clash with the dates when residents can go back to their flats to collect their belongings or the public inquiry hearings. Timothy Lee has more.
Handpicked by the government to oversee affairs at Wanful Court after last year's devastating fire, Homebound Management earlier said it will hold a briefing session for the residential estate's homeowners in the early parts of May this year. Secretary for Home and Youth Affairs Alice Mack said the management company has received over 800,000 documents and requires time for door-to-door verification and sorting work. She further noted that the date for the briefing session will not coincide with dates when residents can collect their belongings from their apartments or the public inquiry hearings. Mack noted the former management company's unsatisfactory handling of the estate's management fee deposits, adding that Homebound will need time to fix the problem. She also said that in the future, relevant owners corporations and management committees will also hold similar briefing sessions to consult affected residents prior to making any major decisions. This as residents of the 7 affected buildings in Wanful Court can begin collecting their belongings on the 20th of this month. Mack said authorities will deploy more than 8,000 personnel to assist local residents at the time. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
2 people suffered mild injuries after a bus collided with a van near the Taiwan MTR station. The van was seen lying on its side after the incident, with significant damage seen on the left side of the vehicle. The Kalu motorbus windshield came off entirely after the crash. A female passenger and the driver of the bus both said they felt unwell after the incident, with the former sent to Prince of Wales Hospital for treatment. The crash took place at around 2 p.m. when the KMB vehicle traveling on the number 88 route was departing from the MTR station before it collided into a van. The section of the road between Mei Tin Road and Hung Mui Cook Road has been cordoned off owing to the incident. The first written paper of the Hong Kong Diploma of Secondary Education exams is set to begin tomorrow. A secondary school principal has flagged a surge in students seeking pre-exam psychological counseling in recent years.
With the DSE exam fast approaching, many candidates stayed in Hong Kong during the Easter break to focus on their revision. A school principal notes that school social workers have been reaching out to exam takers at the start of each academic year. This as the proportion of students receiving counseling before exams saw a notable surge from 4.8% 5 years ago to over 20% now. Much of their anxiety, he says, stems from the growing culture of comparison on social media. Principal Kwok Yo Ham of the Lions Club's International Chun Choi King College says some students want to appear effortless when achieving high grades. In this environment of comparison, he says some students may feel inadequate because they couldn't see the time and efforts behind the scenes. Hexath Club surveyed more than 1,000 DSE candidates this year between January and February. It found exam takers' stress levels higher than the past 3 years, with reasons cited including self-expectations and concerns about future pathways. More than 46,000 day school candidates have applied for this year's DSE, an increase of about 8% year-on-year. Hexath Club's consultant says some candidates are worried that larger cohorts could mean more fierce competition to get into their university or course of choice. He adds that while the rise of AI has helped students revise more efficiently, it has also created uncertainty about future career prospects. In this final sprint of exam preparation, he reminds students to focus first on revision, but also maintain a healthy routine to optimize their exam performance.
The $2 public transport fare concession scheme for the elderly was modified recently to offer a $2 fare or an 80% off discount for fares over $10. Secretary for Labor and Welfare Chris Sun explained on TVB's Straight Talk program that the purpose of the change is to make sure the arrangement is sustainable in the long term, while encouraging the elderly to avoid taking long-haul rides if they can take short trips.
Instead of just a $2 flat rate, we have modified it a little bit, so it will be $2 flat rate or 80% off. And the second purpose is to introduce a system in place that will encourage people to make a choice. So if there are options available for you to take on a short haul route that will cost you less, and with now 80% off, people will avoid taking a long haul ride just for short trip travel purposes.
Sun said there are currently 2.67 million Joyu cardholders who can use the scheme, and in 10 years' time, the number will rise to 3.2 million. Sun said the change can save $550 million of public money each year. Overseas, a tanker truck explosion in Panama City on Monday left one person dead. At least 4 others were injured, including 2 firefighters. The incident occurred in the La Boca area near the Panama Oil Terminal's SA facility and beneath the Bridge of the Americas, where a tanker truck exploded while refueling. The blaze later spread to 2 other tanker trucks and caused multiple secondary blasts. Built in 1962, the 1,654-meter-long Bridge of the Americas, located at the Pacific entrance of the Panama Canal, is a key transport link for traffic and logistics across the waterway. The death toll from extreme weather that has triggered widespread flooding and landslides in many parts of Afghanistan has increased to at least 110. Storms and heavy rainfall began across Afghanistan about 12 days ago, affecting most of the country's 34 provinces. Over the past 24 hours alone, 11 people have died and 6 have been injured, the Disaster Management Authority said. The 7 people missing are all believed to have been carried away by floodwater, while 958 homes have been completely destroyed and more than 4,100 damaged. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.